last time you were in the barracks with Captain Fang Pierce, who has taken Mr. Dolly into custody, and you are trying to find where he hid the map. And he has just looked up at you after checking his watch to let you know that he hid it with Nathan Rockfort, the mouse that was carrying the big wagon of cheese and tea cakes.
Well, that was really not very smart because I'm good friends with him. And we're going to go there and we're going to get it back. So, yeah, take that.
Well, I suppose we'll just be on our way in that direction then, if you know where to go, Portobello.
Yes, I sure do.
How do we know there's not some sort of misdirection? Can one of us tell if he's lying or not? Like, will that be an empathy roll to kind of figure out if he's lying? He's just, like, trying to, divert us in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it would, and if he's lying, it would be versus his deceive.
Clementine, would you like to tell if he's lying?
Yes. Sir, let me look into your eyes for a minute.
Can you see if he's telling the truth just by looking at his eyes?
Oh, well, of course I can. It's something that you get with age.
Or we like you to beat it out of him.
Oh, we're not gonna have any beating of prisoners here, sir.
Oh, darn. As you say.
Look, I'm letting you talk to the guy, 'cause apparently he hid something he stole from y'all, but you're not gonna punch him.
Fine, have it your way.
Mr. Dolly stands up and says, "Of course, just you'd have to come to me, because, these pesky bars, just in the way."
Right, so I guess I'm gonna walk over there and try to see if I can tell if he's lying, right?
Yeah, sure, you can do that.
Yeah.
Would you like him to repeat the information?
Yes.
He looks you dead in the eyes and he says, "The map is with Nathan Rockfort, the cheese-wheeling mouse that I ran into earlier today. That's where the map is. Plain and simple. I do not have it. He does."
Alright, so I'm gonna roll empathy on that.
Yeah, roll empathy on that. See if he's lying. For all intents and purposes, he is not lying to you. He seems as truthful people have ever been.
When you say it like that, it makes me trust him even less.
Well, I think we'd better go and see if we can find this Mr. Rockfort. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds real good. Yes.
Do you guys want to take care of that? I should go check on the doctor and see if he's okay.
Oh, yes. Excellent idea.
Portobello, since you're such good friends with this fellow, I'm assuming you won't get into much trouble?
Oh, no trouble at all, sir, Mr. Captain.
I'm not a captain, I'm Sir Diggs, the Bold! I guess we head off, we split off. I'm gonna go back to the Smith-Stotzian Institute and make sure Professor Simon Clarota isn't dead.
Okay, you're doing that, and then Portobello and Clementine, where are you guys going?
We're gonna go to Mr. Rockfort, the cheese wheeler.
You guys will be going to the Culinary Center, which is where he works in his dealings of cheese and tea cakes, and just as a general sous chef for Nomura Spike, the head chef. Portobello clearly knows all that because he steals food from them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Diggs then.
Cool.
Diggs, you walk into the Smith-Stotzian Institute where everything is still a bit of a mess, but as soon as you walk through the door, you see Professor Simon Clarota picking up a bunch of papers and artifacts and dusty old books and putting them back on the tables and onto shelves and just various places where they were supposed to. You do also notice that there are no rats around.
Diggs goes over and starts helping him, clean up a little bit, and then says, "You know, we could have helped you if you just weren't so attached to your secrecy. We could have stopped them sooner and maybe prevented some of this mess. why didn't you just come out with it?
He is very startled because I guess he was so just into his work and fixing his place, he didn't even notice that you were in there helping him.
Whoa.
And he, oh, you! Did you get the map? Did you get it?
I have the small boy and the old lady going after it from some cook called Rockfoot?
Rockfort?
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Rockfort? He's the one with the map?
I mean, I don't think he...
That map looked nothing like Nathan.
Well, I don't think he had it on purpose. I think as we were chasing him, he kind of stashed it on his cart. And it was his cart that he stashed it on. So, probably unknowingly has it.
Come,
why were you so
come here.
secretive? Oh, yes, sir.
This is why. And he opens up an old tome. And he flips a few pages through it. And he taps on the symbol and he says, this, right here. This is why I was secretive. This was on the map. Do you see this M, this symbol? This M right here. This is the same M that was engraved into the great shield of Martin the Warrior. It's known in many, many legends and tales. This was on the map. And when I saw it, I knew that it would lead to Redwall. And Redwall, not only being a dangerous place, if somebody with the wrong intentions was in charge of the Abbey, only bad could come of that. I had to keep these secrets to myself until I was sure and until I found the right people to help me find the Abbey. That is why. I couldn't trust you. You're a stranger. Forgive my rudeness and secrecy, and that you could have helped me, but anybody would say that they could have helped me. The fact that you're back here checking on me means that you are the right person, and I will not apologize for my rudeness earlier, but I do thank you for your help, sir.
Well, maybe your caution has saved a lot of lives. Quite noble of you. What happened to the rats? Did they just get up and walk away, or did someone pick them up?
Yeah, well, the rats took the other rats with them. That one, Clutchney, he took off after you all jumped out of the window. And him and one other rat took the rat leftovers with them.
Where did you find the map?
I was looking through the old libraries of Castle Floret, the abandoned one that used to be the Squirrel Kingdom down in Southward. But as I was looking through these dusty tombs, this map just fell out. Simply put, I do not know its origins, but it seemed like it was placed there in a hurry and hidden. Maybe not hidden. I can't tell. I can only tell of its legitimacy, and I do believe that it is, as the kids are saying these days, legit. I don't know about you, but I am hungry and would like a snack. Would you accompany me to the culinary center for some kind of meal? You must be famished after your chase.
Oh, I am always hungry. Let's go!
Let us walk.
Do you need any help walking, old man, or are you going to be okay? You've been through quite an ordeal.
This is what the cane's for, young man.
Oh, fair
And
enough.
I'm not so old that I could not keep up with you in a race. I am past my prime, but I am still a hare.
Well, now you've piqued my interest. Do you want to race towards the culinary center?
No, I've had a day, and I am famished. I'd rather just walk.
Fair enough.
Portobello and Clementine, you walk up to the culinary center. The food's not quite ready yet there. It is clearly being prepared, and as you look around, you can't find Nathan Rockfort, but you can find Chef Namora Spike, who is the head of the culinary center and Nathan's boss.
Is this like an indoor place or an outdoor place?
It's like a giant pavilion. So picture like the Hogwarts dining hall, but it's outdoors
Okay.
with giant tents, and you can like see where the food is being cooked. So there's like a line of brick ovens on the back and tables where things are being prepared, and just giant crates of food and produce and things like that.
Or Clementine, look, that's the Chef Namora Spark. Let's go ask her and see if she knows where Mr. Nathan is. Chef.
Oh, that's Namora Spike. I've always wanted to meet her. Let's go right there, right now.
What? Chefy, Miss Chef Namora.
I think I very excitedly shake her hand if I can. And I say, Namora Spike! The Namora Spike, I've read all 6 of your books on pastries and cakes and pastas. I'm so glad to meet you in person.
You can.
Oh my! You're quite an enthusiastic one, aren't you? Here with...
Oh, you'd bet
and
I
you're
am.
with Portobello. I hope you've got a good head on your shoulders, because that hamster needs a little bit of a push in the right direction sometimes.
I
Anyways,
can't
I'm
read.
flattered. Portobello, you're not here to steal any more of me food, are you? She gives you a wink at that.
Yeah, no, not this time. We was wondering, you know where Mr. Nathan is?
Why, he's out on a job for me. Why do you need Nathan so bad? Did he lose something again? Did he lose his keys? Did you
Well,
find the keys?
Actually, what's happened is it seems that something was lost. Something of ours was lost with him. We had a bit of a scuffle with a petty thief earlier, and before he was caught by the authorities, he seems to have thrown what he stole from us onto Mr. Rockfet's cart.
Oh, that whole kerfuffle out in the market district.
Yes, exactly.
I saw that. It was just after Nathan left.
Did you see?
Well?
Did you see what I did? Did you see how cool it was?
No, I didn't. Why don't you tell me the story? Hey, you know what? I'll even get us some cups of that strawberry fizz you love so much, Portobello.
What?
You can't say no, and I know you won't. And she snaps her fingers and waves over, and some people bring you some non-alcoholic strawberry fizz, which is one of your favorite drinks.
Oh yeah,
Portobello.
It's real good. Watch, Clementine. This is what you got to do first. And he puts his face in his glass and blows bubbles on the top of it.
Oh, Portobello, don't
No,
do
it
that
makes
in
it
public.
taste better because it's got it makes it so it puts the air bubbles are in it, and the air tastes
It
good.
does quite increase the fizz, madam.
Well, I suppose
Now,
if
don't get me wrong. He does this with all of his drinks, not just the fizz. But with the fizz, it actually works.
Do it.
And
all
even
right,
Chef Spike goes ahead and she blows some bubbles.
I suppose I will, just this once. I do it.
Yay!
Portobello, she fell for it. It doesn't do anything, but you seemed a little bit stressed and I wanted you to have some fun.
Oh, well, wasn't that a silly joke you played on me?
Oh, I think I see. Is that your badger friend over there, Portobello? The one I saw you running through the square with?
Oh yeah, that's Captain Mr. Diggs. Oh no, he's going to tell you though that his name is Diggs the Mold. You've got to say it just like that, because he'll get real angry if you call him something else.
That's a silly name for a badger, isn't it? But if Diggs the Mold is his name, I guess I'll call him that. Hello, Captain Mr. Diggs the Mold.
Diggs the Mold! I'm sorry, you misheard. It's Diggs the Mold! And he kind of strikes a pose with both of his fists on his hips, and tries to give a little a smile that supposed to shine in cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Of course, that's what he does.
Oh, Diggs, I'm glad you're back. And how is our doctor friend?
Diggs steps aside and sees you see the old man kind of catching up a little bit, because Diggs definitely had a power stride to him.
And there he is in the flesh. Now, Diggs, I'm sure while you were at the Smithsonian Institute that you also cleaned up the mess downstairs, didn't you?
Well, I did try to help.
He did help quite a bit. Don't you worry, young lady.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Did you just call me a young lady?
Portobello, this is what we call flirting.
Oh, what's that? It's calling someone young lady. All right. Can I flirt with you, Mr. Diggs? You is a young lady. I flirted.
I'm quite proud of you, Portobello. And he takes out a treat from his little bandana satchel and gives him one.
So every time I call someone a young lady, I get a treat. All right. He gets up and starts calling everyone on the table a young lady. You is
what
a young
behavior
lady.
did I just promote?
You is also a young lady. Congratulations.
Portobello, there is a time and a place for flirting, and I'll be sure to give you that talk, and once we have some time to settle down somewhere. How does that sound?
What? So it's what time? It's 4 or 7 p.m. every day is the time, and it's right here for flirting. I've got it.
It's a bit more nuanced than that, Portobello, but...
Speaking of it being close to 7 p.m., I'm sure you're famished.
Oh, yes.
Here, sit down. I won't take no for an answer. You must eat with us tonight. I'm even going to waive the ingredient entry fee. And afterwards, I'll tell you where Nathan went. He'll be safe. He's with two
Where did they go?
very, very strong hedgehogs off on a job for me, where I sent him. And he will be safe. Don't get me wrong. I would worry for the boy if he has an important thing, but he'll be all right. Please sit down and eat.
All right.
Diggs, are you going to protest this?
I want to protest this, but...
I think I just want to talk recipes with the Nomura Spike.
Oh, absolutely.
Is she like the Julia Child of this universe?
She is the greatest chef that, in recorded history, essentially. She is... I don't know, everybody knows her. Clementine knows her. And not only is she good at cooking, she's a great all kinds of...
And writer.
And
she's
baker.
written all those books.
Yeah, she's an incredibly accomplished woman.
Oh,
and
Diggs
she's
definitely.
inviting you to dinner. The greatest cook of all time in the Mossflower Woods is inviting you to eat a meal that she's made, and you're trying to protest her? Also, this is a Redwall campaign, and part of Redwall is food. And so if I don't eventually get to do this, what's the point?
No, you're right. Diggs is already sitting down at the table with a handkerchief, with a tablecloth tucked into his shirt, and with a fork and knife ready to eat.
Nice.
Oh, these biscuits, they're absolutely gorgeous, Mrs. Spike.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe how flaky they are. How did you manage that?
You know what? I'll tell you the secret. But right now, I need to go get the rest of the food. And so...
Oh, right, of course.
So the three of you and Simon are sitting at this table, and the sun is beginning to set. As it is getting darker, it is late. And eventually, while you are conversing, the smell of tender freshwater shrimp starts to fill the pavilion, and it wafts into your nose, and it just smells delicious. And massive bowls of lightly roasted stone fruit salad and freshly baked wheat rolls that are still warm enough to melt the apple butter on it, just like that, they're just put in front of you as appetizers. Eventually, Chef Spike walks up to you with a plate filled with church mouse cherry crisps, honey glazed and rose petal garnished shrimp, and large tankards of badger barley ale right in front of Diggs. Just places it down and says, "We get the barley of the ale directly from the crescent, so I feel you should be right at home," and taps you on the shoulder. And then she goes back and she grabs another plate, which is filled with a variety of aromatic teas, and it has accompanying raspberry, strawberry, and blackberry scones, and are placed in front of Clementine. as well as a crisp summer salad with some fresh almonds, where she says, I don't quite know which of the settlements you're from, but we get these almonds directly from Neville, so I hope they're up to your standards. And then she goes over to where Portobello is and gives you another drink of strawberry fizz and creates a well-balanced meal of melt-in-your-mouth summer shortbread, glistening blackberry cake, and a crisp apple tart, all the sweets. And she says, now, I know you and I have butted heads from time to time, but Portobello, you've done a very good thing today helping these people and trying to help old Simon. And you should feel very, very proud for doing so. So I gave you an extra tart.
The whole tart is in his mouth and he's like,
Oh, Spike, this is the most magnificent meal I've had in such a long time. It seems like every time anyone, is putting on a big meal, I'm the one cooking it where I'm from these days, so I really do appreciate this. I'd love it if you could make your way to New Canopy or even parts of Waitik. Hopefully it will be called if you ever come back. I'd love to see what you could do with some of our local herbs.
Right. However you pronounce them, I never know myself. I just write it in the books. Herbs.
If it's got an H in front of it, you say the H sound. I learned that. So if it, how is
Right.
so?
H herbs.
What?
What?
Is it
Anyways,
herbs
just
or
enjoy the
herbs?
meal. I don't
As
know.
long as anyone understands you, it seems like the language is working, in my opinion.
And so Chef Spike then sits down, and Clementine, I'm sure you two start exchanging all the recipes as Portobello shoves as many sweet things as he can into his mouth, and Diggs drinks a bunch of ale and probably continues to question Simon and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you guys have
He's
a
on
very
like
good
his
night.
sixth plate of food.
Yeah, just lots of plates and food, and it always just keeps coming, and that's why this is known as the greatest place in the world by a lot of people, is because the food never stops and it's all delicious.
I love this town. We should never leave.
And then more people come by, so eventually Captain Fang Pierce will come by because she needs to eat sometime, and she gives you the update on the prisoner that Mr. Dolly has just been sitting in his cell, not doing anything whatsoever, just sitting there and basically refusing to talk. You eventually meet Edward Redmayne, who is a fox and is kind of like the lookout. He basically lives in the giant tower in the center of town, and Captain Fang Pierce introduces you to him because if you guys are trying to find Nathan Rockford, she assumed that you would need a good tracker, as Edward is. Edward introduces himself. Hello, I'm Edward. I hear you might need a tracker in the morning.
What?
Anyways,
Speak up, fellow!
Yes, it's nice to meet you all. Anyways, I'm going to take my food to go, as always. Nomura, it's good to see you again.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Redmayne.
Pleasure. Well, I'm going to go back to Lookout again. And he walks back towards the tower.
How about, can I walk with him on his way back to the tower so that way he's not held back? So I don't cause an accidental invasion of some kind.
Yeah, you just get up and you follow him, like, excuse me, Mr. Redmayne, as I'm sure you would do something like that.
Mr. Redmayne, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm just taking my food back to the watchtower.
I have a few
I like to eat
questions
my
for you.
food.
Really, only one question for you.
Oh, okay, yes.
Have you seen a Nathan Rockford traveling with two hedgehog fellows?
Well, let's see. I didn't quite see him. I just got back from a hunting trip myself, but given the fact that it is Tuesday, he probably went on an errand to one of the folks in the forests, in the woods, for Miss Spike, just doing a delivery deal, as he normally does on Tuesdays.
Where does he usually deliver In the forest, is there a specific place, or are they just some in the general area?
I don't get into Chef Spike's business. I just look for threats.
Have you been noticing any threats as of recently?
There's been some activity that I can't quite say is nefarious, but there's more movement than usual in the outskirts of the walls and in the trees, but I'm sure it's nothing you'd have to worry about. I tell it all to Captain Fangpierce, because she's my boss.
Movement of just people, or of anything in particular, or have you not been able to tell?
Just like the trees and the bushes move more. There's more people traversing.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. I don't mean to keep you up. You enjoy your meal.
You too. Diggs, was it?
Yes, sir.
Diggs. Yes, good to meet you.
Good to meet you, too.
And with that, he walks into his watchtower. And you go back, and you eat. More?
Yes.
Okay.
At least 4 more plates.
A total of 10 plates. What else would Diggs do, you know? You guys eat, and then Chef Spike tells you that Nathan was going on a delivery run to the Frog family, who lives near a willow tree out in the forest. And you can just follow the main road, and eventually it will lead to it. That's where he was going. They have a tea shop, and Nathan was delivering the tea cakes that Nomura Spike made for them in order to sustain their business. They have a trade-off where they make tea, and she makes tea cakes and other kinds of pastries that go with tea, and he was just delivering that. Afterwards, it's pretty dark, which means that tracking isn't really that helpful, and so she insists that you stay in one of the... She knows that Portobello has a place to sleep, which is good. She invites Clementine to sleep at her house because she has a spare bedroom. And Simon offers for Diggs to get a quick rest in his house because he also has a spare room. And then in the morning, as soon as dawn starts, they can set out to go find Nathan. Hey everybody, it is Aubrey, your GM, here to give you a few quick announcements. So this is the 3rd episode in our Down with the Sickness arc, and there are going to be 3 more, and we've actually already recorded 2 of them, which means that I am in the need of some NPC names, and I would love to name them after some of you guys. So the way we're going to do that is through Twitter, and I will choose from a pool from anybody who has tweeted their favorite thing about the podcast and uses the hashtag MouseDagCast. So if you do that, you will be put into a pool, and then when I am planning out the next arc and or trying to pick NPC names on the fly, I might choose your name, but that is only if you tweet about your favorite thing about MouseDag or your favorite moment so far in If You Give a Mouse a Dagger, and you use the hashtag MouseDagCast. Speaking of which, we have our own Twitter that you can follow us. It is at MouseDagCast. When we get enough followers, we will give away some of Hana's art, because Hana's art is incredible, and you need it in your life. So go do that, and then we'll have a giveaway. Or you can get your friends to do it, and we'll have a giveaway. Just a heads up, the release schedule over the next month and a half may be a little bit weird, because Eric, who not only plays Diggs the Bold, but does our initial editing, he's getting married this weekend, and then he's going to go on a honeymoon, and of course have a great time. We're very, very happy for him, but it may mean that an episode or 2 are going to be out late. It's just life things. It happens. Once again, not guaranteed. Other than that, all I have to say is that thank you so much for your support. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and a lot of people just telling us they like it, which is crazy. Now, also, what you could do to help us is going on a podcast app and giving us 5 stars or 5 thumbs up or whatever, leaving a nice review. But even more than that, go tell a friend and say, hey, you like actual play podcasts? And hey, you like Redwall? Listen to this thing. And then they'll listen to it. And then we have one more person listening to the podcast, and it helps us spread the word and the gospel of the Redwall novels and its just wonderful, heartwarming feelings throughout all of it. So, just quick summary. Tweet about us. Follow us on Twitter. Leave us a review. Tell a friend. And thank you. We love you. Let's get back into the action.
Can I say that I don't know what time Nomura Spike wakes up, if it's after dawn, but if it is after dawn, like if we're leaving before she wakes up, can I have made a breakfast for her that I leave on the table?
Oh my goodness, absolutely you can. She does wake up pretty early because she makes the breakfast for everybody, so she has to be up before other people make breakfast. But you are more than willing to get up before she gets up to make other people's breakfast and make her breakfast. She walks out and just compliments on compliments about how nice you are and that it's delicious, and I don't know what you make, but whatever it is, she loves it.
I make her a Waitique classic, which
Ooh.
is pancakes in the shape of trees.
Oh, these are cute, isn't it? I'll just have to take... Do you mind if I use this design sometime? I love these trees.
Of course you can, of course you can. It's really the least I could do for all you've done for us.
You're too kind, Clementine. Well, I'm off, and you should be too, shouldn't you? Go get Nathan, me co-worker, back and get your map.
Yes, off I am. I'll see you sometime, I'm sure.
Of course. And she leaves, and unless there's anything any of y'all want to do before you head off, you guys meet up at the front gate with Edward Redmayne, who says, "Good, you're here. So the frogs live down that way, and I've already found where the wagon tracks are at, the wheels, and how they've depressed into the mud. So as long as we follow these, we'll end up wherever Nathan is." That's all I had to say.
Best we get started then.
What? Is it second breakfast yet?
Well, if you say please, I'll give you another cookie, perhaps.
Please.
Please what?
May I have my second breakfast?
Yes, you can, Portobello.
Thank you. Is you gonna have one? Second breakfast is the second most important meal of the day.
Oh, I suppose just one more wouldn't hurt.
Cool. So you guys are following down this trail headed towards the frog family, and it's just wagon trails. And then eventually the thing that catches your eyes is that a bunch of tracks come from the side of the road and then start to line up with the wagon wheel trails.
Oh no.
Tracks. What you see is that there are a bunch of tracks of a variety of creatures like rats, mice, hedgehogs, weasels, stoats, things like that. Just a hodgepodge. And they all come from the sides of the road, and then they kind of start to go parallel and behind the trails that the wagon wheels are leaving behind for a bit. And then eventually a few of them just kind of disappear, but some of them still kind of hide right behind it in some sort of fashion.
I think the wagon was assaulted.
Is that a bad thing?
They were trying to hurt him, so yes. Or take what we want.
That's not good.
Well, I suppose this is the reason we have a tracker now, isn't it? I give Edward a knowing look, as if to say, figure this out.
Well, you guys keep walking for a while, just following the trails, and the tracks stay with the tracks of the wagon for a very long time, like a surprising amount of time. You'd think that within this amount of time, you'd find some kind of clue that Nathan had run off, or the hedgehogs had run off, or you would find some of their belongings on the side of the road or something like that, but you don't find any clues like that until eventually the footprints of a rat run off to the side of the road.
A rat. I should have guessed.
You get a ways down the road, and the footprints kind of veer off to the left, and so far there have been these large kind of walls of stone on the sides of this road for a while, but then there's this kind of enclave off to the left side, and the tracks are leading directly into it, and it's just one pair.
Wait, remind me, OOC, what is Nathan?
Nathan's a mouse, so these tracks are too big to be Nathan's, and Edward points that out to y'all.
Diggs pulls out his poleaxe and is going to start following the rat tracks.
Well, perhaps it's better to stay on task, isn't it?
I'm just a little concerned that he might have run off with our prize. So I just want to, just for my own mental assuredness, what's the word? For my own peace of mind? There we go. I kind of want to check this out. This might be a bad idea.
No, we'll follow you. Just for a little bit, though. If there's no evidence of the map anywhere, then we will have to continue following the main path.
Yes, ma'am. And he continues. He goes and follows the tracks.
Okay. You follow the tracks for a little bit into this clearing, essentially, and in the middle of it, with the tracks leading up to it, is a statue. It is withered and worn, and as you look at it, you realize it has no head, but you can assume that it was the statue of a badger once. Its right hand is sticking out as if asking for something, and its right hand is holding a pike straight up and down. As you look more down on the statue, you see that on its left legs, crudely engraved into them, are the letters C-O-T-A-F. And there are some dots to make it an acronym.
A Clementine?
Yes.
What's that say?
Wait, what were the letters again?
C-O-T-A-F.
Kotaf? Well, perhaps it's a name of some sort.
How'd you say it?
Kotaf or Kotaf?
You did say there were periods, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Let's just try that again.
That changes things a bit. I didn't see them. My old eyes. No. Well,
What's...
Mhm.
Yeah. How do you say that?
So
As
whenever
all the letters are capitals.
Whenever words have all periods in the middle of them, in the middle of the letters, that means that you aren't usually meant to say it all like a word. You're meant to say the letters just as they are. So C-O-T-A-F. And all of the
That's
letters
the only
themselves.
thing I know how to do.
Well, perfect. You will be great at acronyms. So every letter stands for another word by itself. So it could be collaborative, onomatopoeia, tails at Fahrenheit. But it probably isn't that, but you can get the idea.
Oh, it is now. Now that you've said that out loud, I'm changing the whole plot of the story. Is there anything you want to do with this statue?
Diggs is definitely modeling it, like doing what the statue's doing, and just trying to figure it out, what's going on.
Hey, Mr. Diggs, is you related to that statue?
I don't think so. Hey, Edward, what is this a statue of?
I wish I could tell you, but the engraving at the bottom is just all scratched out. I've been curious about this one for a while, and those letters are new.
You know, when you say these letters, they've got periods. So you just says the letters. You don't have to spell the word.
That's right. The acronym is new. I've never seen it before, but the head's always been missing, and...
Well, maybe the animal who it is doesn't have a head either.
You're right. It could be the headless badger man. I'm sure you're right about that.
How is the statue holding its hand out? Is its palm up? Is that what it is?
Yeah, palm up.
Okay.
Or he's asking for someone to give him his head.
Diggs puts his head in the statue.
This is all I'm giving you unless you decide something that would make you roll for something else.
I'm trying to think what would be applicable for Diggs to roll.
Well, describe the action of what you're trying to do or ask me what you're trying to figure out and we'll go from there.
Can I be sniffing around the statue and looking all around it, just to see if I see anything?
And can I just access my knowledge of lore and see if he's like a famous figure from some sort of tale or like historical event?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll lore.
Okay. A 4's pretty stinking good. Because you're quite smart. Looking at it, you can kind of see that the symbols that are on his armor would lead you to believe that this is a statue of Boar the Fighter. But the thing
Boar?
that's kind of, yeah, Boar, as in like
Okay.
the pig. Boar
Okay.
the Fighter, who used to be Salamandastron. But you also kind of know from your studies that Boar the Fighter used a greatsword, and this statue's holding a pike, not a greatsword. So you're not 100% sure if this is Boar the Fighter, but that's kind of what it leads you to believe.
Can I roll notice?
Of course you can roll notice. Please
Okay,
do.
because I'm trying to notice things. Oh, well.
Excellent!
While Portobello
So-
is noticing,
Notice...
can I just,
Yes.
or trying to, can I just like tell the story of Boar the Fighter?
So you might be telling the story. Portobello is sniffing around and looking around this statue, and with Portobello's roll of a 0 on notice, what she doesn't notice is the giant net that is underneath the leaves directly in front of the statue. And at some point, as he steps on a twig and it cracks, and then this net captures Portobello and hangs him directly up in the air in front of the statue.
Oh, Portobello.
Whee! And look, I was up here now.
Diggs is looking around.
You's all so small.
Diggs is definitely looking around for whoever set the trap. He's expecting an ambush.
Oh dear.
You...
Diggs. Can you reach up there and perhaps cut Portobello free?
Do I notice anything coming from like the surrounding forest?
Nah, all you see is that those... After this has been pulled up, you can see that the tracks go behind the statue and lead directly to the wall, and you can kind of see scratches on the rock wall that climb straight up.
Well, hey, good job, kid. And he goes to
That's
wherever the whatever the net is tied to keep it up in the air, as in like whatever's like the weight at the other end. He goes to try to find that piece of rope, and he wants to cut it. Edward, you want to stand underneath the net?
Yeah, I'll catch him.
Okay, so then he cuts it with the axe head of his poleaxe.
And Portobello just falls into Redmayne's arm and then puts Portobello down, and that's that.
Let's go check out those.
That was so fun. You guys want to try it? Oh wait, you
Oh my
can't
God.
because you ruined it. You broke it.
You're welcome. And he goes to look over at the scratches.
Yeah, I mean, they're just scratches that go up the wall. They're made from claws, as this rat was climbing.
Oh, I thought they were like some sort of secret entrance. Oh, darn.
No, it climbed up the wall. Out of the little clearing that is on the side of the road.
I think I led us astray. We might need to go back towards the track.
But we should certainly remember this place. Something isn't right here.
Yeah, you ain't got no head.
Exactly, dear Portobello, exactly.
So-
Diggs pulls up his shirt and armor side where he's missing a head, and he's holding the pike up and is like making scary noises.
You guys continue to follow the trail for a little while, and every once in a while you can see another set of tracks kind of veer off into the wood. And it just happens every so often. Just one creature runs off. Sometimes it's a rat, sometimes it's a mouse, sometimes it's a weasel, sometimes it's a hedgehog. It just depends. But it always seems a little bit different. And every time, well, I'm guessing, does Diggs get the inclination to, like, go check real fast?
I think he would
Just in case
probably,
it's
like,
Nathan?
one more time, and if nothing comes of it one more time, then he's probably just going to stick to the track. Question about the track. Are the tracks getting shallower as it's moving forward? As it's, like, losing people and maybe losing cargo?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the wagon?
Yeah, like the wagon tracks, are they getting more and more shallow? Like there's less weight on the wagon?
Not really. You
Right.
kind of see it happen once or twice after you see a track veer off, but overall it seems like the wagon has stayed about the same weight. And it's never stopped, is the other thing that you notice. But that one time you go off to follow the tracks, like the second time it happens, just to make sure, you walk up to a tree, and it has the same letters carved into it, the same acronym, and you're smart enough to find the trap that was left there. About clear as day in front of the tree is another net that was ready to sweep you up. But since, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, and you're not going to be fooled twice.
Diggs cuts the rope so no one else falls for this trap, and then he goes back to the other tracks. I think someone's trying to slow us down and fool us. I think we should stick only to the wagon tracks now.
So you guys continue down the trail until eventually you come up to a giant willow tree. And then, as you look down, you can see a door that leads underneath the roots of it into a little burrow home. And Edward tells you, this is the frogs. This is where they live. You can see the wagon went into their garage.
Same with the frog family that lives here.
No, their last name is Frog.
Oh, I thought they were frogs.
Oh.
Their last name is Frog. They're foxes.
Oh, that's not even was. Do you see me calling myself
Portobello,
mouse?
it's not nice to make fun of other people's names.
Right, it's a family name.
Oh.
It might hurt their feelings.
All right, it's fine. I just didn't know.
Right. Anyways, I'm sure Nathan's safe inside. We should just... I don't know.
Are there
Knock?
any signs on the outside of the tree, or is it all, like, peaceful and quiet?
Yeah, there's nothing big on the outside of the tree. You can see that there are about 6 sets of tracks that end up going into the place where the wagon goes, which is a little bit off-putting because you know that Nathan was with 2 hedgehogs and not 4 hedgehogs or 5 hedgehogs, however many I just counted. Anyways, there's more tracks than people should be in there going into the garage.
I think we should not alert them to our presence quite yet. So Portobello, he puts his finger up to his lips.
I kind of feel like while Diggs is doing that, I might just say something like, "Oh, you worrywarts," and just go up and knock.
We die.
You go up and you knock on the door?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
You knock, and then after a little bit, the front door opens, and, well, howdy! Welcome to the burrow! You're new here.
And what a warm welcome it is.
My name is Trenton Frog. That's my wife, Chamomile. You can call her Cammy. And those are our 2 little kids, Willow and Cedar. And that
Now
is
where's
Nathan
the
Rockford,
trees?
our lovely guest here today. And those 2 hedgehogs who refuse to tell me their name, but they are such a hoot. Anyways, come on in here, have some tea. Welcome to the burrow. And then you see as Nathan, 100% completely unscathed, looks up at you and says, "Why, hello, sirs. And madams.